Hello everyone, welcome to my first Warrior Smite analysis video. In this video I will be graphing and comparing the health, mana, health per level, mana per level, range, and damage stat for the warrior class. Starting off with graph number 1, on the right side we have the titles followed by the averages of the data points. The warrior range is 12, the only exceptions being Achilles and Cuchulainn at 16. Below the ranges we have the data points alphabetically listed. The blue number represents the lowest data point in the cohort, the red number represents the highest data point in that cohort, and the green number is a visual aid for the following bar graphs. Zooming in, and to the left we have a spider chart representing the 6 listed values. I had to divide the health stat, speed stat, and mana stat by 10 in order to present a cleaner graph. Using Hercules as an example, his actual HP, mana, and speed stat respectively are 579, 237, and 375. With the spy chart out of the way, we are moving on to our first bar graph. This is the damage bar graph. There's not a lot of variance going on in this bar graph. The few things I want to point out being Bologna having the lowest value at 38, as well as a group of gods sharing the highest value at 41, and in between lies the 40s and the 39s. Breezing by damage, we are on to a juicier graph. On the x-axis we have the god names, and on the y-axis we have the health and HPL for the top and bottom graphs respectively. I just saw that Achilles was painted blue for his HP value in these past graphs. He does not have the lowest value at 56 that is held by Odin at 55.3, but I just want to say that those values are wrong, and Achilles does not have a lowest value at 560 HP. But moving forward from that blemish, Hercules has the highest two values for this cohort, with a health value of 579 and an HPL value of 89. Mulan holds the lowest HPL value of 82, while Odin holds the lowest HP overall value of 553. And one thing to note about the HPL graph, I took the health ranking graph above it and slapped those values onto the x-axis. So there's a loose gradients of the lowest health values being on the bottom left, with the highest health values being on the right, as well as the HP values being listed on the y-axis. In this graph, ideally the best warrior relative to health comparison of these isolated variables would be furthest to the right, representing a high HP value and having the highest bar as possible, representing a high HPL value, which we see is Hercules on the farthest to the right, as well as having a slightly higher bar than everybody else. Finalizing this visualization on mana and MPL, we have two graphs that are identical to the ones before it. On the x-axis we have the names of the gods, and on the y-axis we have the mana and MPL for the top and bottom graphs respectively. I had to highlight Cuchulainn due to his radical difference in mana. However, Odin actually holds the normalized lowest value of 23.5 for mana divided by 10. Hercules has the lowest MPL value of 32, while King Arthur and Osiris share the highest two values at 27 and 40 for mana divided by 10 and MPL respectively. A couple of things I want to point out is the fallen King Hercules, who was the highest value holder of the last graph, but now is the second to lowest value holder in this graph. Another thing is Horus and Guan Yu. Horus has a higher mana value but a lower MPL value, so I wonder if late game Guan Yu will end up having more mana than Horus, or vice versa. I'm gonna have to do the math on that. These are just the base stats. However, I want to eventually graph out the protections and regeneration, and then do the late game level 20 stats and compare them to the base stats to see which gods stay in their place or which gods go above and below in the rankings. But this concludes my warrior class base stats data visualization. My next video is going to cover the protections and regenerations. I'm also going to be working on doing this same graph, but for assassins. Also, please let me know if any values are incorrect. I did make mistakes and repair them midway through the video, so please let me know if I missed any. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please be safe out there. Take care. Goodbye.